Hello students. In the previous video we completed introduction along with exercise 2.1 of the section fractions. In this video we will be completing multiplication of fractions. You know how to find the area of a rectangle. It is equal to length into breadth. If the length and breadth of a rectangle are 7 centimeters and 4 centimeters respectively, then what will be its area? So given here are the values for length and breadth of a rectangle. So you have a rectangle with its length equal to 7 centimeters and its breadth equal to 4 centimeters. Given this, what will be the area? So we know the formula for area of a rectangle is equal to length into breadth. Therefore, the area would be 7 into 4 or 28 centimeter square. So let me just move this over here so that you can see the square. Whenever we are finding out the length of something, we have to make sure that we use the proper units. In this case, because there is 2 centimeters, you have centimeter square. Next, what will be the area of the rectangle if its length and breadth are 7.5 centimeters and 3.5 centimeters respectively? So consider any rectangle like this. It's not given that its length and its breadth should be whole numbers. Its length and breadth can be fractional also. So given such a rectangle with its length equal to 7.5 centimeters and breadth equal to 3.5 centimeters, what will be its area? So we have to do the same procedure as before, except that we need to convert these into improper fraction and then multiply them. So the area is going to be 15 by 2 into 7 by 2 centimeters square. 15 by 2 is the improper version of 7.5. Whereas 7 by 2 is this 3.5 mixed fraction converted into improper fraction. Now we have to find out how we can multiply these two fractions. The numbers 15 by 2 and 7 by 2 are fractions. To calculate the area of a given rectangle, we need to know how to multiply fractions. We shall learn that now. So in this section, multiplication of fractions, we will be learning how we can find such areas by learning how to multiply fractions. Firstly, let us consider the multiplication of a fraction by a whole number. Observe the pictures at the left. Figure 2.1. So here is figure 2.1. Each shaded part is 1/4 part of a circle. So as you can see clearly, each of these circles have 1, 2, 3, 4 parts. And these shaded parts represent 1 out of the 4 parts. How much will 2 shaded parts represent together? So what if you take these 2 circles as 1 unit? In that case, how much would these two represent? So we have 1/4 plus 1/4. That is equal to 2 quarters. So we have 2 into 1 by 4. And we know that 1/4 by 1/4 is equal to 2 by 4. Combining the two shaded parts, we get figure 2.2. Now supposing you just combine these two shaded parts and put it in the same circle, then we get this. What part of the circle does the shaded part represent? So it represents 2 out of 4. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4. So the shaded part is 2 out of 4, which you can also get by adding these two 1/4 plus 1/4. Similarly, consider this also. Another way to do it would be to take the two shaded parts, that is 1/4 by 1/4, and just multiply it by 2. So how did we multiply it? We just multiply the whole number with the numerator. So why is it this way is because, look here. Here we are saying it's just 1 out of 4. Now if you want to multiply it by 2, intuitively it just means that we are doubling whatever quantity we have. And how do you double the value of a fraction? Should you increase the denominator or the numerator? Whenever you want to increase a fraction, you always have to work with the numerator. That is why we multiply the numerator by whatever whole number we have, and then we keep the fraction as it is. That is why 2 into 1 by 4 would give us 2 by 4. Similarly, let us consider another example. Here we have again 1 by 4. So this represents 1 by 4. Similarly, this also represents 1 by 4, and so does this. Now if you put them all together, what is the total fraction of the shaded part here? It is nothing but 3 into 1 by 4. So this is equal to 3 by 4. As we just learned, you just have to multiply the numerator. You can try the next one. This is out of 9. This is 2 by 9, 2 by 9, 2 by 9, and this is going to give us 6 by 9. Now, let us find 3 into half. So instead of doing 3 into half as multiplication, you can also do it as repeated addition, where you just expand 3 into half by saying half plus half plus half. Half plus half plus half, we know that this is equal to 3 by 2. We know this from addition of fractions. So similarly, we can also get it by directly multiplying the numerator 1 with the whole number 3. Now, let us try these. Similarly, 2 by 3 into 5 would be equal to 2 into 5 by 3, or equal to 10 by 3. And this one would be equal to 2 into 3 is equal to 6, that by 7. The fractions that we considered until now, that is half, 2 by 3, 2 by 7, 3 by 5, were proper fractions. Now for improper fractions, we also have, similar to proper fractions, the way you multiply the whole number with an improper fraction is the same, just multiply the numerator and copy the denominator. So 3 into 8 by 7 would just be equal to 24 by 7. You can try the next one. The next one is, let me move it down. Yeah, 4 into 7 by 5. So in general, to multiply a whole number with a proper or an improper fraction, we multiply the whole number with the numerator of the fraction, keeping the denominator same. That is how we multiply a whole number by a fraction. Now let us try these. 2 by 7 into 3. So this is equal to 6 by 7. Next we have 9 by 7 into 6. So this is equal to 9 into 6, that is 54 by 7. Finally, we have 3 into 1 by 8. So this is equal to 3 by 8. You can do the last one. If the product is an improper fraction, express it as a mixed fraction. So out of these, only 54 by 7 is the mixed fraction. Try to convert it, it's the improper fraction. So try to convert it into a mixed fraction like we have learned in our previous video. Next we have represent pictorially 2 into 2 by 5. This is equal to 4 by 5. So here I have represented 2 by 5 as 2 out of 5 parts of a rectangle. Here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 parts. So this portion, it represents 2 by 5. Similarly, if you want to do 2 times this, you can just take this one and you can copy it down. So this represents 2 times of 2 by 5. So how many parts of the original rectangle does this represent? Now it should be easy for you to see. This represents 1, 2, 3, 4 parts. So whenever you are asked to represent something pictorially, what you need to do is you need to have a square or a rectangle or even a circle and then divide it into the denominator number of parts. Then you shade the numerator number of parts and you repeat it by the whole number of times. So here we have 2 by 5, which is why we took this fraction first. So we took this fraction first and then we did that 2 times. So 2 into 2 by 5 is thus equal to 4 by 5. Next, to multiply a mixed fraction to a whole number, first convert the mixed fraction into an improper fraction, then multiply. So similarly, whenever we are adding mixed fractions, we needed to convert them into improper fractions first, then into like fractions, only then we could add them. So similarly here, to multiply a mixed fraction to a whole number, we first have to convert it into an improper fraction. Here we have examples. 3 into 2 5 by 7. To multiply this, first convert 2 5 by 7 into an improper fraction. 7 2s are 14 plus 5 is equal to 19. Copy down the denominator. 19 by 7 into 3. So the answer is 57 by 7. Then if needed, it can be converted back into a mixed fraction. Similarly, you can attempt the next one. And we also have these over here where we have a couple of more examples for you to try out. Observe that in the second example, it's just the multiplicand and the multiplier, they have switched positions. So that does not matter. You can just convert this into an improper fraction and then multiply the numerator with 6. And if needed, you can convert it back into a mixed fraction. Let us try the next section, fraction as an operator of. Observe these figures. The two squares are exactly similar. Each shaded portion represents half of 1. So what they mean is, here we have one square and this shaded portion, it represents half of this square, half of 1. And even here we have one square, it represents half of 1. So both the shaded portions together will represent half of 2. So if you take this and this together, it is just saying half of 2 squares. Combined, the two shaded portions, it represents 1 square. If you just take half, it will become 1. So we can say that half of 2 is 1. So this is very easy for us to understand. Half of 2 should be equal to 1. One way to understand this is, take any thing that has 2 units, okay? So this is a rectangle, this has 2 units. So this is unit 1, this is unit 2. Assume, for sake of example, that this represents, say, 1 rupee and this represents another rupee. So totally this is 2 rupees. So half of 2 should give us 1. Half of 2 is equal to 1. And one way to do it is just to multiply it. So half into 2 is equal to 1. Thus, half of 2 is equal to half into 2 is equal to 1. That is what this operator of represents. All you have to do is imagine that fraction of this whole. And how we can get the exact value is by multiplying that fraction with the whole number, like we learned in the previous section. We have more examples here. Here we have half, half, half. What is half of 3? Because we have 3 such squares, what is half of 3? What we need to do is we need to multiply. So the answer is going to be 1 by 2 or 3 by 2. So this is actually very easy to understand intuitively. half of 3 is nothing but 3 divided by 2. So what you need to do to get half of 3 is divided by 2. So this fraction represents exactly that. One way to get this fraction is to multiply half by 3. So half into 3 is equal to 3 by 2. This you can also represent it as 1, 1 and a half. 1 and a half. Okay. So this 1 and a half, how you can get is you can just add these 3 halves. 1, 2, 3 halves. So you're going to get 1 half. Let us consider this problem. This is going to help us understand this easier. Farida has 20 marbles. Reshma has 1/5 the number of marbles what Farida has. How many marbles does Reshma have? As of indicates multiplication, Reshma has 1 by 5 into 20. So here we have Farida and she has 20 marbles. And Reshma, she has 1/5 of Farida's number of marbles. So you can just multiply 1 by 5 into 20 and you'll get 4. So how we get 4 is 1 into 20 is equal to 20. Just copy down the denominator. So 20 by 5 is 20 divided by 5 is equal to 4. So another example is half of 16. What is half of 16? You know very well that half of 16 is 8. How do we get that? Half into 16 is equal to 16 by 2 is equal to 8. Here we have some examples which are going to help us make it very clear about this of operator. Can you tell what is half of 10? So what is half of 10? If you have 10 rupees with you and if someone asks for half of it, what is it equal to? Is equal to 5. But how do we get 5? This is 10 by 2, which is nothing but 5. Similarly, try the next 2 examples in this try these exercise. Let us understand this example 5. In a class of 40 students, 1/5 of the total number of students like to study English. 2/5 of the total number of students like to study mathematics and the remaining like to study science. How many students like to study English? How many students like to study mathematics? What fraction of the total number of students like to study science? So this again is fairly simple if you have the proper understanding of the fractions of operator. So what is 1/5 of 40? 1/5 of 40 is nothing but 1 by 5 into 40. So 1 by 5 into 40 is equal to 8. How is it equal to 8? 1 by 5 into 40 is equal to 40 by 5 is equal to 8. For question 2, we need to find how many students like mathematics. It is 2 by 5 of 40. One simple way of doing it is, look here, 1/5 like to study English and twice as many like to study mathematics. So 2 into 1 by 5 is 2 by 5. So how many ever students like to study English? Twice as many like to study mathematics. And we know that 8 students like to study English. Therefore, 16 students like to study mathematics. Another way to do this is equal to 2 by 5 into 40, which is equal to 80 by 5. Okay, so that is equal to 16. Now the last one, you don't have to do it this way. Look here, the question is what fraction of the total number of students like to study science? And we have 1/5 like to study English, 2/5 like to study mathematics. So the total fraction is as simple as the whole 1 minus 1 by 5 plus 2 by 5. So this is nothing but 1 minus 3 by 5, which is equal to 2 by 5. So whenever they have asked the fraction, you need not have to find the actual number and then go back to find the fraction. You can get the fraction directly. So 16 by 40 can also be represented as 2 by 5 because there's a factor of 8. So again, simplification of fractions, you need to recall. So 16 by 40 is equal to 2 by 5. Next we have exercise 2.2. We will start this and complete it in the next video. I will see you all in the next video.